Hi there, I'm Carolyn, Trichologist at Absolute Hair Health Clinic. Today we've got a hair loss story. It's a female story and it's really interesting to share because we had an otherwise what we call healthy female. She was 35 when she came to see me, and she was expressing concerns with hair thinning. She had some hair breakage, we had an oily scalp, and we also had dandruff. And what she said is that these problems had progressed over the years, but in the past 2 years it had become noticeably worse, to the point she was having to use hair extensions to feel better about the appearance of the hair. So we went in with a trichology consultation where we asked lots of questions and we also use a microscope. And what we found is over the last 20 years she'd had 6 courses of Roaccutane. So what that is a medication for acne. So what I could see is underlying, we had not just an acne problem, but we had a hormonal problem. And the Roaccutane, as much as it works really well and saves a lot of people from scarring, what it can do is break down all of the oil glands over the entire body. So when we're talking about hair, every hair on our head has its own oil gland. So the scalp condition she was experiencing now was to do because it has dysfunctioned from the use of the medication a long time ago, which is really, really interesting. And also what we can find is looking at blood tests is that if you have low vitamin D, you're going to have hormonal problems and acne and extra oil as well. So really she potentially had low vitamin D for all this time. So then we looked through the microscope, we could see that her oil glands were sort of dried up but blocked at the same time. The scalp was very dry and very scaly. These are all sort of side effects of that medication we mentioned earlier. And yeah, all these years later, but we can come in and help to correct it. Then we went deeper into consultation, and what we found is that she had been a vegetarian for many years, and she said she was not a good vegetarian. And what that means is that she was eating eggs and fish, but she ended up eating more carbohydrates, less vegetables, and she was really eating a diet of more processed type foods. So then we checked in with her blood tests, and we found that she currently had low vitamin D, and we found a history of low iron and also low ferritin. So there was lots of underlying causes for me to see that, you know, we had scalp conditions, but we also had hair growth problems, meaning the hair that was currently growing out of the scalp, 50% of it had lost structure, meaning it wasn't growing to its normal hair structure size. So it had thinned, and this is what we call diffusely, and she had lots of empty follicles as well because the hair had fallen out from the low ferritin. So there's all sorts of things going on. So by the time she met me, she had been working with a naturopath for 1 year, and so she had then become a healthy vegetarian, meaning she'd learned how to eat the correct proteins and also the vegetables, food combining. We helped a little bit further with what we call food for ferritin and the art of absorption. So there's free copies of that available. You just need to email me. And then we went for 4 months. We did a combination of a topical approach, and we also addressed the deficiencies, and we did a nutritional program to do what we call a cellular reset. So for this client, we tracked her for the first 4 months, and then we did the second 4 months. At the second 4 months, we can see it's a completely different head of hair. The exciting thing is that she is now without having to use hair extensions, so it's all of her own hair, and she's also been able to return back to having safe hair colouring services, where when the hair was so broken, she couldn't even colour her hair. So a few things is that medication can contribute, obviously low iron, low ferritin, low vitamin D. If there's something happening to your hair or your skin, it's a sign something is wrong inside. So don't ignore the signs, and we can always get good stories out in the end. So if you would like my help, we're based in Brisbane, but I can help anyone in the world with the technology we have. Please email me. It's info@absolute.com.au.